Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk of the Town. We just hit 80 degrees. There are a few showers and thunderstorms up in Renville County, but more could redevelop as we go through the afternoon. That's why that flood advisory is in effect. A lot of ground saturated after heavy rains earlier this week. We're talking MSU Highland Summer Theatre on Talk of the Town today. Maybe you saw Barbara Streisand and George Segal in Owl and the Pussycat, but whether you did or didn't, you'll want to see this version. In fact, we bring back one of Mankato's greatest products.
Wow.
Are you a product?
No.
Did I refer to you as a product?
I think you did. Did my stuff
sorry.
just arrive?
I'm sorry.
Oh, crap.
That
We need to go
might,
find Dr. Hustles
in
now.
fact, that's part of the premise of the show is that you're...
It's true. I am for sale in the show.
Aha!
Right? Only
Zillah
I'm fighting that. I'm fighting that the entire time, and I've got this stubborn man to go off of.
We're going to talk about that after we hear from Cato Insurance. All right. Good afternoon. Let me bring up everybody's microphone here and say good afternoon. First to the director of the show, Paul Finocchiaro. Good to see you, Paul.
Thank you for having me.
And the show, The Owl and the Pussycat, is just a two-person show, right?
It's a two-person show. It's a lot of work for the actors.
See, when I first heard, because you acted in the opening show.
The second show, yes, Clue the Musical.
And so I thought that you were going to play the male role in this show.
No.
No. You would wipe off, though.
Oh, my goodness, I don't know what would happen.
All right, but you bring in J. Alexander Coe, Alex.
Yep.
Very familiar to fans of MSU Theatre. You've done a lot of shows over the last few years.
Oh, yeah. My first show here was Dancing at Lunasa, directed by Heather Hamilton, and I did a couple of shows. I've only worked with Paul Finocchiaro on a couple musicals and Harvey as well, which was a few years ago. And then recently I was in The Producers and The Odyssey, directed by Dr. Hustles. So.
And I know, and of course the Odyssey went to Washington, D.C., one of the most honored college plays in the nation. I'm just going to say, Alex, I know you're going on to pursue this acting career, but if it doesn't work out, I think you could go into radio.
Thank you.
You have a great voice. And in radio, you just have to, muse about certain things, and it doesn't have to make sense or anything.
Not at all. No. I think people listen to radio just to hear voices.
And we bring back, after a bit of a sojourn, but Zillah Glory and J.
10 years.
I first interviewed you, I think, when you were in one of Pat Ryan's plays down in Mankato West, I think.
Back in high school, yeah. Yep.
And then you graduated from MSU.
I did.
And now you have your Actors Equity card.
I do. I have my Actors Equity card and my Screen Actors Guild card. Some of those things I just lucked into on the way, kind of hopping in a big giant circle around the country, and any time I couldn't stop. I've tried a few times to give up theater, and I never could.
It sucks you back in.
It does. It's my heart.
So you did try to give it up, huh?
Yes. I mean, one of my jobs was working as a consultant at an electronic healthcare communications company, and I found out I was really good at sales, but it was heartless for me. I needed to do the performance aspect, which was what I was good at, but I needed the theater. I needed the people.
Getting off the point, but I mean, theater gives you the people skills, so you could be a good salesperson. I mean, sales is basically employing people skills, isn't it? I mean,
I think so.
Bottom line.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad you got back into acting, and you're in the San Francisco Bay Area now.
I am. I'm hopping between San Jose, Palo Alto, and San Francisco.
What a great area. And then, and they might suck you into Silicon Valley as well. You might end up in computers.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
Right in the heart of that area. But we're glad to have you back for the summer. And you'll just be on the one play here? Or?
It's just the one play. I wanted the opportunity. It was time. I never thought I wanted to come back to Mankato so much. I'm missing my family. And I went through a certain cycle where all of a sudden I became very, very grateful for my education and realized how far forward that put me ahead of most of the people that I encounter. And I wanted to come back. I wanted my family and friends to be able to see me, and I wanted the chance to do a show like this.
Well, you're just another example. I mean, MSU's theater department, and Alex, you're going to join this great coterie of people who have gone on to professional jobs in theater. Paul, I mean, isn't that the case? I mean, whether it's behind the scenes or on doing the walking the boards.
Absolutely, you never know where you're going to go. When I got out of my undergrad, I had a 17-year career full time in musical theater. I've seen every state in the country. I've toured Europe. I've sung on cruise ships and done many shows in Las Vegas and worked with stars and understudied stars and all that. So I never knew where I was going to go. And so for me, the natural progression of things when I decided I wanted to stop performing was to teach how to do what I had the beautiful opportunity to do.
Yeah, and we're glad to have you back here. You're a dynamic talent. I've seen some of the shows you organize for, like Jane Early's retirement. And when you perform too.
Yes. Performing's a little different for me now. It was so much easier when the last time I performed on stage in a scripted piece was 2004. So doing Clue for me was a huge leap. It was a really difficult task, but I felt really gratified when it was done.
Now, you're much younger than I am, but, you know, let me ask you this. People have told me that the hardest thing when you get, you know, as you grow older, which we hope we all do, but is memorizing the lines. Did that become harder?
That was definitely harder. That was definitely harder. I'm almost 49. So
no way.
Yes, I am.
Dang, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, and it was hours.
No fighting here on stage now, you two. We're listening to Paul.
I know. No, that's great.
Gotta keep going. I want to hear this. I'm trying to calm these two down.
On a daily basis, it was hours of work. And toward the end, I had to. You could always find me on stage, just running my blocking with my lines, with nobody else on stage, for hours, literally.
I can really. I did some theater in high school and college, and then I kind of, you know, I loved it, but I decided that there was no future, for me. And I still, to this day, and this is 40 years later, wake up with that dream that I can't remember. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
I remember what you're going to say. That's you're touching on a nerve, though, because this two-person show, what you were talking about, needing to walk around the stage for 4 hours, we're putting in 8-hour rehearsal days.
Wow,
Alex and I are
8 hours a day.
Yep, Alex and I are meeting for at least 2 hours outside of them. There's something different. There's something about memorizing the lines which you think you have down when you're reading by yourself in a room. And then there's getting on stage and my heart gets beating and we're yelling and we're howling at one another. And it's such an intensely physical show, which I love. I mean, I'm as tired physically as I am mentally, that once we get those words spinning, I am having the hardest time right now. I've never had to work this hard.
Of course, I mean, you two are carrying the whole play. You don't have anybody else to come in to...
and it's nobody else's responsibility.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Something huge. Yeah. I want to say that, this is one of the best, and I don't know, I think this is one of the best plays I've worked on just for that opportunity of being on a two-person cast, which, is extremely difficult.
Now, did you see the movie version of it? Have you seen that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You mean a paraphrase movie version?
Yeah, it's a very paraphrased movie.
Okay, see, I've never seen. Well, it's been 40 years since MSU produced the show.
Yeah.
So it's the movie's really different than from the play.
The play is significantly different. In my personal opinion, the play is better. I think it has much more
Usually
parts.
it is.
Yes. And it's actually set in San Francisco. It's not set in New York. There are no other characters. So when you get two actors that are really working with each other, they're listening and reacting and really playing off of each other, it's a really kind of electric experience, which I was really looking forward to. And we're getting there. We're getting to that electricity that the audience is just going to be so involved with it.
For people who don't know the story, Zillah, Alex, and I'm referring to you in your non-stage name.
Oh, no problem.
Alex perceives you as something different from what you really are.
Right, so he's perceiving me with some spyglasses through his window. And then he calls my landlord.
He's kind of a creep, right?
He's a creep. He's a complete creep.
Yeah.
He reports on me to my landlord. I get booted from my apartment at 2 in the morning, and then I go crash his place.
And all you are is just a struggling, aspiring actress.
Actress and model, right? Absolutely.
Maybe does some of those photos that appear once you've succeeded, right?
As she clarifies.
No Twitter. No Twitter at that time.
As she clarifies, you can't just pick her up on the street, though. You have to be properly introduced.
And so, Alex, you end up being confronted.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the interesting things about this play is that they both think there's something that they're not. In the beginning of the script, when it says the cast names, there's F. Sherman, so you don't really know my real name, and then there's Doris W. And it's because they keep on switching their names around because they want to be who they think they are. And then when they come together in the play, it's more about they help each other realize through very violent speech that they're not who they say each other are. They fall in love, and then, well, I'm not going to say too much.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, people may know the ending of it, but if they don't, that's fine. But I mean, it revolves a lot around kind of mistaken identities.
Identity, absolutely.
Right. And a puffed up perspective on who each of us is, and how desperately we work to prove to the other person, I am who I say I am. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not, because I see this. No, I'm this.
Yep.
And it goes and crashes, and then they maybe make out.
Make up or make out?
Make out.
All right. Hey, I like it.
Switch them around.
I really think that a lot of it is about breaking down the walls, and you really can't have a relationship until you're raw nerve, and you absolutely know who you are. You admit who you are, and when you do, then you can finally find the person that you're supposed to be with.
Mm-hmm. And so, I know that the rehearsal period is very intense, as Zillah said, 8 hours a day, because you only have a very short time to get this together. But so, are you, Paul, as a director? I mean, you're picking it apart and trying to get the inner, the psychology and on all of that. I mean, there were discussions about this, who I am and who I want to be, and all this.
Well, for myself as a director, what I try to do is inspire someone to go in a direction, especially emotionally. I don't want to say to you, oh, you're sad here, or you're happy here. I want to say, a lot of times we use as if. Oh, it's as if this. Or it's as if you just stepped in a puddle and you're knee-deep in mud, and these are your favorite boots and your favorite pantyhose, or whatever it is, so that that will inspire some kind of thought for them to move to where they have to go inside their head. Because as a director, I'm not inside their head. So if they can go back to something or imagine something that will get them to where they need to be emotionally, then that, I feel like, is my job. And then the other job of a director is really traffic cop. Go here, go there, do this, do that. Mm-hmm. And the rest is up to the actors to fill in the emotional content. And if I can guide them in the emotional way that I feel the story needs to be told in, then that's the success.
Zillah, looks like you want to say something.
Yes, you said something really cool about how you couldn't get into our heads as actors. And what I love about working with Paul, and what I've noticed, is the precision and the delicacy and specificity of physical movement. Mm-hmm. So that, no, you can't really climb into our heads, but he is so physical with all of his dance background and all the rest of it. He's on stage with us, moving, and can literally embody timing in his movements that makes the rest of what I have to say make sense.
We did something last time. We made a change. So I said to Alex, let me be you. Okay, you go here, and you do this, and Zillah, you go, so I'll manipulate their bodies to where they need to go, so that the lines make sense, the action makes sense, and the story makes sense.
They sort of all unify in some way. We're not disjunct.
You know what was interesting earlier on? You two kind of moved toward each other. If you're gonna start, I mean, so it's hard to get completely out of character here.
Yeah. Well, when Zillah came in during the first rehearsal, I'm still a very young actor, so I haven't experienced a lot of real connection on stage, especially when you're working on plays for months and months at a time, and when you have to do this play in 2 weeks. Not even. It's really hard to find that emotional connection right away, and we both just jumped into it. Like,
yeah, it was complete. It got to the point where, I don't know, when we're working on lines off stage, I feel like I have to be by him because there's something that happens when you rip each other to pieces on stage, and it makes you feel vulnerable. There is a separation of actor and character, but there has to be some crossover, because if you can't invest your own what if, or what if this was me, into it, you're not really going to feel it. And this play is so high and low, from screaming and howling to the most vulnerable admission and intimacy, that it carries a little bit off into our offstage. I'd have to trust Alex. Or I actually, as Zillah, trust Alex more now because of how immediate and intimate I have to be with him on stage as friend.
And the crazy thing is, we've only known each other for about 3 or 4 weeks. The first time we met each other was online, just on Skype and Facebook, just chatting around.
Isn't that one of the fun things about theater, though, getting to meet people that you hit it off with? It's just, I mean, that's one of the appealing things. Does that happen at a professional level, too, like it did in college and high school? Meeting people and finding people that you're compatible with?
Absolutely. And also finding people that you can't stand and making it your professional job.
Have you worked with people that you can't stand, that you had to pretend that you were in love with, for example?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have as well.
Is that really, really difficult?
No. It's only less pleasurable. It's only less satisfying, but it is not more difficult. I think the difficulty stays the same. For me, the major change between that kind of attachment to another human being in college as opposed to the professional world was that in the professional world, I encountered the fact that people are ready to be super tight with you, and the moment the show is over, they are gone goodbye.
Yes.
And in high school, college, you're carrying over, you're still in this big rush of and you all hold on to each other for 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yes.
Wow. We are on Talk of the Town, which is flying by today because we're having fun. We only have a couple of minutes left. The show runs only 5 performances, they all in the Pussycat.
Yes, Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay, and no matinees.
No, not
okay.
that summer.
All right, so you can go to MSU Theatre online at msutheater.com, or between 4 and 6 today, or Monday through Friday. You can call the box office at 389-6661. Zillah, you indicated earlier, Zillah Lange, in case you're just joining us, a graduate of Mankato West and a Minnesota State Mankato, but you said this show involves tremendous mental and physical energy, so you're very tired at the end of 2 hours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if we haven't left our hearts and souls on the floor for this one, I don't think we do the writing or the character relationships or our direction any justice.
Okay. And Alex Coe is heading. Tell us where you're heading. We indicated you're pursuing theater.
Yes.
But tell us what's next for you. Alex.
Well, after Al and the Pussycat, I'll be doing one more performance here in Annie, where I'll be playing Rooster, and then about a little bit over a week after that, I'm going to head to Louisville, Kentucky, to be part of the Actors Theatre of Louisville. I'm going to be an apprentice there, so it's pretty exciting. I'm going to be there for 9 months, 9.5 months, and then after that, no idea.
Well, we wish you the best. Break a leg, I guess I'll say, put it that way. But Zillah, do you ever get back? Like the Twin Cities has a great theater scene, but
everybody says that, and I know my heart is being tugged. So here's what I've got ahead of me. I've got probably a year and a half. I'm moving into more of an administrative position with the Palo Alto Children's Theater. So I'll be the marketing and PR person / director of education / developing new stories for their Teen Arts Council, directing, etc. So I've got about a year and a half there, and then yes, I really am actually looking at the cities.
Okay.
I miss home, and this feels like home.
Well, it's just really good to see you again. And when Pat Ryan, I ran into him at the wagon wheel, surprisingly, and he said, Zillah's coming back, and you should interview her. So then I talked to Mike Lagerquist, who's you're videotaping me as we speak. I don't know that I'm supposed to be on camera.
Reality TV.
Oh my gosh. Me and Snuggie, huh? But
I'm getting her number.
But anyway,
connections. I got the hookup.
All right. Owl and the Pussycat, great comedy, is opening on Tuesday night and runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right?
Yes.
Next week? All right.
I have a little bit of ticket information if you have a second.
I have 10 seconds.
Okay, $14.50 regular, 13 seniors, youth, and groups, and 10 for MSU students. The sponsor is MSU Trio programs, Upward Bound, Educational Talent Search, and Student Support
You
Services.
could be in radio. You got it all in.
Ding, ding,
All
ding.
right.